Hey guys, so today we have a matchup between the Lizardmen going up against the forces of the Dawi. So for the Lizardmen army, you can see this is an army that you've never seen on this channel before, but it's probably one of the most common tactics for the Lizardmen to use against the Dwarves. And that is just infantry spam. The front line is going to be made up of Sarce warriors with shields who will fare decently well against Longbeards and Dwarf warriors, but of course they will get completely obliterated by Iron Drakes and the rest of the ranged infantry of the Dwarves, which is why on the flanks you need to go very heavy with your Sarce warriors and Red Crescent Skinks. These guys, their job is just going to be going around the edges of the Dwarven army and hitting the Quarrelers, hitting the cannons, rangers, all of those ranged infantry, hitting them from the side and shutting them down before they can really do too much damage to the Sarce warriors. For our Lord, for the Lizardmen Lord, it's going to be the Red Crescent Skink Chief. The main reason I took this guy is because he is the cheapest Lord, and majority of the Lords of the Lizardmen, Gorok is probably an exception, but majority of the Lizardmen Lords really don't fare too well in a duel with Ungrim Iron Fist, and so pretty much I just decided, let's just go with the cheapest Lord. He won't do too much in this battle, I'll just leave him out of the fight. And I don't know why I'm spinning the camera around like this. And he will just stay out of the fight, and the Lizardmen won't take a leadership loss since he won't be in a fight if he dies. And so next to him is going to be one unit of Horned Ones. Now this is kind of a niche pick. I really don't see Horned Ones used too often in multiplayer, and I really think they should be utilized more often, though I can see why most people opt not to use them. They do cost 1500 gold, and a single mistake with them would be a huge loss of gold. They are very effective in this matchup, however, since their armor piercing values are very high. They can definitely go and destroy majority of the dwarven units that they go up against. Of course, they have to watch out for slayers and the like, since they are anti-large. They can lay a beating on these cavalry units. And that's pretty much it for the Lizardmen army, so let's move on to the Dwarves. Frontline going to be made up of a mix of Dwarf warriors and Longbeards. They'll fare decently well against Sarce warriors. Their main goal is just to hold out while the ranged units in the back will do their damage. On the right flank it's just going to be one unit of Longbeards, and on the left flank we're going to have Dwarf warriors, Slayers, and the Rangers with great weapons. They're gonna have their throwing axes, so they're gonna be very powerful against the infantry spam of the Lizardmen. One unit of Quarrelers, and in the back one unit of Thunderers to bring some armor-piercing missiles into the fight. We're gonna have Dragonback Slayers. We're gonna be bringing elements of anti-large to shut down any cavalry charges. One unit of Iron Drakes, which is going to be very, very effective against the Lizardmen spam. These are probably the best counters to this type of Lizardmen build, and so having them and protecting them is probably going to be the main factor for the Dwarves in winning this battle. We're also going to have one unit of Trollhammer Torpedoes, which also serve the same anti-infantry role. They can really, really destroy grouped up infantry very quickly, and so for the Lizardmen it's going to be key to flanking around and shutting them down, and for the Dwarves, keeping them online and firing for as long as possible is going to win them the game. For the Lord, we're going with Ungrim Iron Fist, who is probably going to outduel the Red Crescent, well, not probably, will definitely outduel the Red Crescent Skink Chief, and is pretty tough to kill by himself. And so if the Lizardmen troops do get blobbed up around Ungrim Iron Fist, he will last for a long time, and the Trollhammer Torpedoes along with the Iron Drakes can roast the grouped infantry. So that's probably going to be the goal for the Dwarves. For the artillery, one unit of cannons, which is currently going off on some Red Crescent Skinks, but they are very effective in this matchup. They're probably one of the best value artillery units in the game. And a Runesmith coming in with Rune of Wrath and Ruin, I believe. Let's see if we can pull it up. Yep, Rune of Wrath and Ruin to slow down any units that are mainly it's going to be used on the cavalry units actually to slow them down as they charge in from behind and allow the Dragonback Slayers a chance to kill them once and for all. And that's pretty much it for the Dwarven army, so let's get the battle started. Let's speed it up, actually. Oh, I forgot to mention, gyrocopters as well, gonna be having a field day on the Lizardmen infantry. There's really no anti-air in this army, and so the Lizardmen are just forced to eat the bullets from these gyrocopters, so they can just pick and choose who they fire at with ease and no worries. Now let's speed it up. Flanks going into position, trying to go around the entire Dwarven army, shut down the Corlers and the Rangers before they can do too much damage. And now let's... So the frontline engagements have started, and as I mentioned, Saurus Warriors by themselves, though they do fare relatively well one-on-one with Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards, all the ranged infantry of the Dwarves can completely and utterly obliterate Saurus Warriors with shields. You can see these Iron Drakes have managed to rout one unit of Saurus Warriors with shields, and that is that's probably the most powerful aspect excuse me, aspect of the Dwarven army. In the back, Horned Ones do come around the flanks, but Dragonback Slayers are waiting for them. And now the flanks are collapsing in for the Dwarves. Red Crested Skinks along with Saurus Warriors have managed to get around and are rapidly closing in to some Thunderers and Iron Drakes. Dragonback Slayers do manage to catch some of the Horned Ones, and they will definitely be doing a ton of damage on those guys. I desperately try to escape from the backlines, just like rapidly running them through any unit, causing chaos, but the Dragonback Slayers are just too quick on their feet. They're keeping up with the Horned Ones, and as soon as they catch up, perhaps a Wrath of Ruin would help in that. As soon as the Dragonback Slayers catch up, the Horned Ones are going to be gone from the fight, and now you can see the Rune of Wrath and Ruin does come in, and those guys have been deleted. So 1500 gold, this is what I was talking about. They're kind of a niche pick in multiplayer, but if you don't use them correctly, they are a huge loss, which is why I see not many people use them very often. So, not looking great for the Lizardmen. The balance of power is actually pretty favorable for the Dwarves, though I'm guessing it is somewhat elevated due to the fact that the Iron Drakes are still alive and healthy, along with Ungrim having taken no damage. So, Red Crested Skinks do manage to kill off one unit of Thunderers. They might recover, but they really won't be doing too much in the further fight. Cannons have also been shut down by a mix of Skinks and Saurus Warriors. Front lines have been... They initially were won by the Dwarves, but the infantry spam from the flanks were just too powerful and have managed to flank around and hit Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors from behind. The key for the Lizardmen now is shutting the Iron Drakes and the Trollhammer torpedoes down before they can do too much damage to the infantry units of the Lizardmen. One unit of Trollhammer torpedoes does get charged by some Red Crested Skinks, so they will be forced to stay in melee for a while, and it seems like they're probably going to get routed by the Skinks. Dragonback Slayers are very good anti-large unit, though they won't fare the best against Saurus Warriors. They don't have great armor, and so the Lizardmen units will be having a great time fighting those Slayers. The left flank is going very, very well for the Lizardmen. Slayers, again, not much armor, will get destroyed by Red Crested Skinks and Saurus Warriors, and the good thing, at least for the Lizardmen, is that the ranged units have been almost completely routed from the battle. Rangers with great weapons along with Thunderers are standing in the back getting some fire in, but again, the fact that they're so low on models means they won't be playing too much of a role in the further battle. One thing looking good for the Dwarves is the fact that Ungrim Iron Fist is very, very healthy, taking almost no HP damage, and I actually did this on purpose. Ungrim would, trying to chase down Ungrim and kill him would force the Lizardmen infantry to get grouped up, which would then allow the Iron Drakes to completely demolish them. So the entire fight I've been pretty much ignoring Ungrim Iron Fist and waiting for army losses to take care of him. Seems like some Dragonback Slayers are the only thing holding back the Skink and Saurus Tide from killing off Ungrim Iron Fist. The Ungrim Iron Fist will put up a very, very good fight. It seems like the Red Crested Skink Chief is going to charge into some Coralers and absolutely destroy them. Actually seems like he's going to ensure these Iron Drakes do get routed from the battle completely. Getting these guys off the map as quickly as possible for the Lizardmen is going to be vital, since now that the Lizardmen infantry is getting grouped up around Ungrim, if those Iron Drakes return, they would absolutely demolish anything and everything in this crowd. In the back, some Red Crested Skinks are back to shut down some Thunderers, though they are taking some fire from Rangers. The Gyrocopters, as I mentioned, no anti-air units on the Lizardmen, and so they are just going to be picking and choosing their targets with ease, though they have run out of ammo from all their relentless firing, so they're going to be forced to charge into melee with some Red Crested Skinks. I believe they are anti-infantry, so they will be winning that fight. Yep. On the flanks, as you can see, the good thing for the Lizardmen is the fact that the Iron Drakes really haven't utilized much of their ammunition, and so all of that anti-infantry fire that normally would be coming in and destroying the Lizardmen infantry is now completely wasted due to the fact that the infantry spam has managed to shut them down. A complete surround on Ungrim has been done by the Lizardmen, and he is taking quite a bit of damage, though he is holding his own somehow against the Saurus Horde. The Red Crested Skink Chief at this point is just running around trying to avoid any damage from, say, Rangers and or Gyrocopters, while also trying to deal with the Runesmith and get him out of there before his Rune of Wrath and Ruin does some damage to the Lizardmen, though does it actually do damage? I believe it used to do some sort of damage. No, it only does speed and charge debuffs, but I believe it used to do damage once upon a time. Ungrim is rapidly losing HP in the fight with Saurus, and at this point I just decide to send the Red Crested Skink Chief into battle. His 358 weapon strength will aid in finally finishing off the Dwarven Lord. He does manage to rout one unit of Saurus Warriors, but at this point there's really nothing left in the form of infantry for the Lizardmen, for the Dwarves I mean, and so this fight is practically won, even though the Dwarves initially looked like they were rapidly destroying Saurus Warriors and the like. The battle has been won by the Lizardmen, and so you can see how powerful this infantry spam can be. And not that other forms of armies don't work against the dwarves. Crocscore spam and cavalry charges from the flanks can be effective against this kind of build, but I've really just found that infantry spam is the way to go in beating the dwarves. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that battle. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you guys in the next one.